On December 30th, 1941, Admiral Chester Nimitz took command of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, succeeding husband Kimmel, who was dismissed after the attack on Pearl Harbor. Nimitz faced the daunting task of stopping an overwhelming Japanese Navy that was expanding its front daily. With the battleship road decimated at Pearl Harbor, the Pacific Fleet was left with only 3 aircraft carriers: the Yorktown, Hornet, and Enterprise. A direct confrontation with Japan's 10-carrier fleet was unthinkable. Nimitz decisively reassigned the slow, fuel-hungry battleships to West Coast defense and began organizing his counteroffensive around the carriers. He also broke tradition by choosing to control the fleet from a secure land base rather than a flagship, shedding the old naval framework and re-equipping the Navy with a new paradigm. Initially, Admiral Nimitz had little faith in the code-breaking unit known as Station Hypo, as they had failed to predict the attack on Pearl Harbor. However, their subsequent analysis of Japanese movements became remarkably accurate, allowing for effective responses in battles like the Coral Sea. Nimitz began to concentrate his remaining forces based on their intelligence. In April 1942, as Japanese radio traffic surged, Station Hypo detected preparations for a massive operation codenamed MI. While Nimitz could infer that Admiral Yamamoto was planning a decisive battle, the exact target remained uncertain. Was it Hawaii or Midway? A wrong placement of forces would be irreversible, potentially forcing the U.S. Navy to abandon Hawaii and retreat to the West Coast. In mid-March 1942, the diary of Rear Admiral Ugaki Matome, Chief of Staff of the Japanese Combined Fleet, recorded reflections on the unexpectedly rapid conclusion of the initial phase of operations and initiated planning for the next move. Following successive victories, a largely optimistic outlook had developed within the Japanese military leadership. In this atmosphere, the Japanese Combined Fleet planned the MI operation to attack Midway, utilizing a strategy focused on rapid execution based on optimistic projections, distinct from the rigorous, detailed analysis that preceded the Pearl Harbor attack. Meanwhile, at Station Hypo, the U.S. Naval Communications Intelligence Unit in Hawaii, efforts were focused on analyzing Japanese codes to predict the next target. Commander Joseph Rochefort hypothesized that the Japanese code name AF referred to Midway, but concrete verification was needed. Divergent views existed within the U.S. intelligence community, with some in Washington suggesting that the primary target might be Hawaii rather than Midway. Divergent views existed within the U.S. intelligence community, with some in Washington suggesting that the primary target might be Hawaii rather than Midway. To resolve this ambiguity, Lieutenant Commander Edwin Layton and Commander Rochefort orchestrated a tactical deception. They instructed the Midway base to transmit an unencrypted radio message stating that the base's freshwater distillation plant had broken down. Shortly thereafter, Japanese naval communications were intercepted containing reports that AF was experiencing a shortage of fresh water. This intercept confirmed that the target of the upcoming invasion was Midway. Based on this intelligence, Admiral Nimitz was able to determine the Japanese operational timeline and approach vectors in detail, allowing for the formulation of a defensive strategy. The maneuvering surrounding the Midway operation was deeply influenced by this strategic intelligence engagement.